So are you thinking about selling your house sometime soon? You're not exactly sure how to get the house ready. Well, in this video, I'm going to provide some tips to you on some standard maintenance items that you can do on your house to increase the value, make it look better to potential buyers, and save you a lot of money in the form of future requests for repairs from potential buyers. So we in real estate see a lot of houses have the same problems over and over, and buyers, no matter what, they think that those repairs are going to cost more money than they actually will to get them completed. So by doing this up front, doing it yourself if you can, or hiring a handyman, some cheap labor, you're going to save a bunch of money and headaches, and your house is going to present a lot nicer. So hang in there till the very end. So I have one of the best kept secrets about this, and I'm going to get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you'll be the first to know when I post more information about moving or moving to and from the Central Coast of California. My name is Bruce Carson. I'm with Keller Williams Realty Central Coast. And I get phone calls, text messages, and emails from people just like you every single day looking to buy and sell on the Central Coast, and I absolutely love it. Whether you're looking to buy or sell in 9 days or 90 days, just give me a call, shoot me a text or an email, and let me know what I can do to help. So again, today we're going over items that you can do to repair your home and make it look better for potential buyers. So you're looking to sell the house, and we want the house to present as nicely as possible. So, of course, step number one that we've talked about before is curb appeal in making the house look good for a nice first impression that you're going to give to any potential buyers that walk up to your house. So that means, clean up the yard, run the leaf blower or sweep the yard or what have you. Make sure your front door is clean and looks good. And then when people walk in that front door, you want that room to look really nice and inviting and homey and make people want to come in and take a look at the rest of the house and envision the house as their own as they walk through. So here are some pitfalls, some repairs that we see come up on home inspections all the time. And it doesn't matter how old the houses are. It could be a 1920s house or a 2020s house. It doesn't matter. We see the same thing over and over and over. Now, keep in mind, hiring a plumber or other tradesmen to do this work is going to cost a lot more money if you have to do it. I still recommend getting it done ahead of time so that buyers aren't going to walk into your house and see these problems and think that your house is in disrepair or that your house has not been well taken care of. So, number one is leaks. Look at all the plumbing in your whole entire house, meaning you want to look under the sinks and you want to look for any signs of moisture, any signs of water, and also any signs of corrosion. So if there's corrosion, like white corrosion on your pipes, anywhere under the sinks, then that's going to indicate that there has been a leak. Even if it's not an active leak, sometimes that corrosion seals the leak for you. So you want to clean up that corrosion. You can wire brush it away or use another toothbrush or something to get that cleaned up. And then if anything is leaking, tighten it up and fix it. It might be just as simple as tightening some connections. You may have to shut the water off, remove connections, and replace some washers, but it's likely going to be a cheap, easy repair, and it's certainly something that you don't want buyers to look under your sink, see corrosion, see puddles of water, see damage, water damage underneath the sinks. That can drive people away. And like I just said, you can fix this for pennies or free all on your own. So the next one, this is a big one, and people make such a big deal out of this, is the tub diverter or the shower diverter. This is the spigot that fills the tub, and then you pull the little you pull the thing up, and it makes the water come up out of the shower. So when you pull that up to turn the shower on, if there's water pouring out of that tub diverter, then that means it is needs to be repaired, probably needs to be replaced. Now, a home inspector is going to say that they recommend that a qualified plumber come out and look at this, maybe even remove tiles and work on the wall. But the reality is, most tub diverters just have a little set screw. Some of them just slide right on and off. Or there's a set screw on the bottom. You just loosen up that set screw and it slides right off. What you're going to see is probably a half-inch copper pipe, copper tube sticking out of the wall. So my recommendation is remove your tub diverter. It doesn't matter. It's not going to have water come out as long as you have all the knobs turned off. So remove that tub diverter. Or if there's more than one in the house that needs to be replaced, remove them both. Take them down to your local hardware store. Just give it to the people and say, I need a new one. And get a new one, maybe $10 or $20 is what you're going to spend. And then you come home, you slide that brand new one on that copper pipe, tighten up your set screw, and you're good to go. Now, keep in mind, there are a couple of different ways that these go on, but ultimately they should all be just that simple. So maybe, $20 and you've just repaired a headache, and that's not going to pop up on the home inspections, and they're not going to ask you to do that repair. So it's going to look really, really good. Next is a water heater. So I'm coming to you from Pismo Beach, California. So in California, we have some specific laws with water heaters, and it is almost likely that water heaters are not properly strapped, braced, and have the proper pans. So what I'm saying is your water heater should have a pan underneath it that's meant to catch water if there's a leak. So that's easy. You go look at your water tank and see if there's a pan underneath. If there is, great, you're in good shape. Now, the strapping and bracing, we need to have in California seismic straps that keep the water heater in place, keeps it from, in the event of an earthquake, rocking around and tipping over. Something what people don't realize is you have to have two straps. Look it up on the internet. Make sure that they're far enough apart from each other. But the main rule is that those straps start, go, and stop on the same wall. Okay, so you want to have two straps, and they start and stop on the same wall. I've seen recently some vinyl straps that are out. I've never installed one like that before. I've always used metal straps. It's not hard to do. It's not an expensive repair. Make sure you start and stop on the same wall. And then the bracing is a requirement in California as well. And a lot of people miss this one, but the home inspector will call it out. Now, the bracing, now that you have your water heater strapped to the wall, the brace is usually a piece of wood, a 2x4, a 4x4, depends on how much space is between the water heater and the wall. But you just slide that in there so there's something that's going to stay in place between the water heater and the wall. And again, that keeps the water heater from shifting around. Real easy repair, a real pain for people to request that repair. It's on the purchase agreement in California, so you're going to have to do it anyway. So you might as well take an ounce of prevention and get this done ahead of time. Okay, next up is the electrical system in your house. At the absolute very least, make sure you don't have any burned out light bulbs in your house. So replace the bulbs. Go and get some LED light bulbs. That's what we're using nowadays. Now, the LED light bulbs do come in different like temperatures. So you can get like a daylight, a daytime light bulb. You can get warm light. I recommend going with more of a warmer light and not the daytime lights. They're just a little bit harsh on your eyes and a little bit too bright. Now, something else that you can do because it's not an expensive repair, but it does make a big difference, is if you have old light fixtures, like in my house, I'll show a photo. My house was filled with light skip fixtures that literally looked like big boobs. They took two light bulbs. It was shaped like a boob, and then it had the set screw or the nut on the end literally finish that boob off in the form of a nipple. They're funny looking and they don't look good. So you can go down to your local hardware store. You can order LED lights online and replace the light fixtures. It's very easy. It's very simple. The lights are actually um, very affordable and they are low wattage. So even if you don't know how to do electrical connections, if you haven't worked with electricity before, the wires on these LED lights are very, very lightweight, small gauge, because there's not a lot of wattage, not a lot of electricity going through those. So make sure you turn your breakers off when you're doing this. Make sure the light switches are off so you don't get shocked. So be careful, but if you can, replace those. It's a really nice upgrade to put those LED lights in. Plus, your buyers are going to appreciate the LED. They're nice and bright. They last a really, really long time, and they barely take any energy. Hey, our next ounce of prevention that we can do, go to your electrical panel. It's probably on the outside of the house. Sometimes they're in the garage. Occasionally, we'll see them inside of the house. Open up the panel. That's where all the switches are. They're the main breakers for the house. What you want to see, what buyers want to see, and what home inspectors want to see is that every single switch inside of that box is labeled. Just label it, say, what is it functioning? It's the master bedroom, it's the kitchen, whatever it is, label it. So your new buyers, it's a courtesy to your new buyers. It looks good, makes you look organized, and then again, it won't get called out on the home inspection because those home inspectors will call that out. And if they call it out and give you a request for repair, and the buyer asks you to do that, well, guess what? You're probably not going to hire someone to do that. You're probably going to go out and do it yourself or, get on a cell phone with a friend or a family member and say, all right, well, what does this turn off? And then you label it. So you might as well do it now, get it done ahead of time before you try to sell your house. Electrical. Make sure that all the sockets are working. Sometimes the plugs are connected to a light switch. So if something's not working, try a light switch that might make them operable. If you have an older house, your outlets might not all be grounded, and it's a good idea to have grounded outlets throughout the house. You may need to consult an electrician on that one to make sure that they're grounded properly. Okay, next up for home improvement here is painting the house. So this is kind of a gray area, and some people say yes, paint. Some people say don't paint. If you do choose to paint, if you need to paint because your walls are dirty, there's a lot of holes in the walls, a lot of repairs that you're doing. Maybe the walls are faded. If you've had smokers in the house, that's going to affect the color of the walls. So if you need to paint, if you're not a good painter, please do everyone a favor and hire a professional painter. It does cost more money, and paint costs a lot more money now too. You'll be surprised; it's expensive. But go with a white, some version of white. I can't even tell you how many different white colors there are um, in the paint world. And I always recommend getting a really good quality paint. You're going to spend 40 or 50 bucks for a one coat paint, but that's something that you really don't want to skimp on. because if you buy cheap paint, then you're going to go and you're going to paint your walls, and then you might have to turn around and do a second coat. So invest in the good quality paint that specifically says one coat coverage. So floors, you know, evaluate the floors in your house. If nothing else, make sure they're clean. If there's any cracks, if there's broken tiles, repair or replace them if you can, if you have the materials. The flooring is important. If you have old, dirty carpeting, clean the carpet. Consider removing the carpet and replacing it with hard flooring. Um, the hard flooring nowadays, the vinyl flooring, the like waterproof flooring. I just put it in my house. It floats on top of the concrete. You don't need to use glue or adhesives. It all snaps together like a big puzzle. Um, it's worth it. It's not a big investment, especially if you can do the work yourself. If you can't, that's okay. Just make sure that the floors are as clean as possible. So here's one that comes up a lot on our home inspections, and that is loose toilets. And it just drives me nuts when I see this on home inspections, and then it always comes across as a request for repair. The reality is when a new toilet is set into a bathroom, we use a new wax ring, and it's wax, so it's soft. Put the toilet on top of that and then bolt it down. But over time and with some use, the wax settles down, and then it makes it so the bolts that are holding the toilet down over on the side, they're loose. So the home inspector is going to walk in, he's going to grab the toilet and rock it like this. And if it's rocking around, then it's going to be called out on the home inspection. And all you have to do is do that test yourself, gently rock the toilet in your house. And if it rocks around, you can even use a pair of pliers or a crescent wrench and just tighten the bolts down on the side at the base of the toilet. Please be careful. You want it snug, but you don't want it super tight because you're tightening that down onto porcelain. Trust me, I cracked a toilet that way. You don't want to do that. Tighten them down so they're nice and snug. Test your toilet again. Make sure it's not rocking around. That's going to pass on the home inspection and save you headaches, save you money in the future. Because on that request for repair, it's probably going to say toilets are loose and we want a qualified plumber or a certified plumber to come out and tighten those bolts for us. That's going to cost you a whole lot of money, a whole lot more money than you getting a crescent wrench or a pair of pliers to tighten that up. On the outside of the house, if you have decks, pergola, patio covers, any wood structures that are clearly being destroyed by wood destroying organisms, fungus, termites, if they're falling apart, look really bad, look really old, talk to the people you live with, talk to your partners or whoever you're dealing with, and really consider just removing those items before you sell the house. That way, you're not going to have any complaints. It's not going to look bad. It's not going to show up on that pest inspection, and no one's going to ask you to repair it. So it's going to be cheaper. Take it apart, have a little bonfire in the yard, depending on where you live. If you can do that, go ahead and get that done. Just saving money, making the place look even better. Um, so outside of that, that's those are my tips for preparing your house. Other options, I always recommend if you're thinking about selling your house, start interviewing realtors right away. Call me, call my team, Slow Happy Homes, interview people. You want to interview some realtors and make sure you choose a good one, someone that you like and you get along with and you trust. That's going to represent you well with that fiduciary duty. So always feel free to please do interview me. You might as well. And you can also go so far, it does cost about $600 around here to go ahead and get a home inspection. If you get a home inspection, that inspector is going to call out in red lettering at the top of that home inspection problems that are considered health and safety issues. Those are the things that you're going to see on a request for repair from your future buyer. So go ahead and if you do that, do the repairs, fix the health and safety items. So lastly, feel free to hit me up for a hard copy or a digital copy of this home seller's guide. So all my contact information is listed on the video.